Hi, I'm here on the floor of the Catholic Marketing Network trade show with Father Edward Looney. Thanks so much for being with us.
It's a joy and a pleasure to finally meet you and be with you.
Thanks, and we know one another from Twitter, the great social media digital content there. Uh, Tell me a little bit about your Twitter presence, but then I do want to talk about the book.
Sure. So on Twitter, it's just a way to reach out to people and share the gospel and something that I never thought that I would do, but kind of it was a parish initiative in my former parish and kind of just carried on with it in my new assignment.
It is an amazing way of outreach, I think. I say I learn something new every day and I get aggravated every day. How about yourself?
I think the same is true for me.
It's a pretty common, I think, reaction. So you are a busy priest of the Diocese of Green Bay. You're working on your STL at Mundelein. You're a busy guy, and yet you're a prolific author, and we're here to talk about this book on Mary, A Heart Like Mary's. So how do you work all that in?
I think it just comes down to, it's a hobby, so it's something that I enjoy doing, but it's also, we have a lot of wasted time in our life, I think. And so if you identify the wasted time, like when I go to eat at a restaurant by myself, I bring a little portable keyboard and I'll be typing away while I wait for my food to come. And so, it's just all about how we use our time, I think.
It's kind of interesting that you say that because although maybe that was Mary's heart, but for her as a mom, she was probably doing a lot of multitasking like yourself. So tell us some of your favorite ways to have a heart like Mary.
Sure. So essentially, in the book, what I did was I went through the scriptures and kind of asked about all the different events of Mary's life. Well, what does this mean? What does it mean to live with a Marian heart? That was the question that was first posed to me. And so as I looked at the scriptures, I kind of found different attributes and I wanted to pray for them. So I prayed for patience and for generosity, to be attentive to the needs of others, to pray for others, to praise God and to thank God. And so really seeing in Mary a woman who did all these things and what she did, and as a fellow Christian on the journey to heaven, that really to find inspiration from her.
Great. And committing that to it's 31 meditations, 31 daily meditations to get us through some of those longer months. And did you ever have to struggle with finding out one of those things that were in Mary's heart?
I wouldn't say so. There was probably maybe one or two meditations that it was just a little of a stretch for me to write, just because it was something that maybe was a challenge for myself. Maybe to say a heart filled with compassion. Maybe that's a weak area, and so trying to draw that out and to work on that. But reflecting on it helped me immensely as well.
One of the things that I often struggle with, of course, maybe tied into patience, as you mentioned earlier, is, when we talk about Mary and they say, well, she held those things in her heart. For many of us, and tying in the Twitter, we immediately start yelling or carping about something. We don't hold it in our heart and ponder it. How do you think Mary achieved that, and how do we cultivate that sense of ponderance?
Yeah, for her, I think it was holding all these memories of the life of Christ and being able to revisit them. And, oftentimes that's something I think we do when we have a great memory of something, that we often will revisit it at some point, maybe in our prayer or just in our mind. Maybe as you're driving along, you might be thinking and musing about something from the past. And so that's kind of a treasuring and a pondering. And in the spiritual life, I think it's to look at all the graces, all the gifts that we've received from God, and really to continue to treasure all those things in our own hearts and to thank God for them.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Father Edward Looney. It's a beautiful book, A Heart Like Mary's, and we look forward to seeing more of your tweets. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much. God bless you.